Thank you for joining our Keller Covered Mastermind webinar. I am Desmond Milvenan. I am an agent with the mothership, Market Center #1, and I have the honor of telling other Keller Williams agents about Keller Covered. How lucky am I to be able to talk about a no-brainer? So today also joining us is Kevin Schwarz. He's an agent in Pittsburgh, as well as a Keller Covered technology guru. And we also have Krista Goodwin, who is our marketing director extraordinaire, who will be manning the chat line. So if you all have any questions, we want to make sure they're answered. So I'm going to start out today by recommending, I'm sure most of you have already read this, The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. Not only does it say it's important for us to build a successful business and to tell us how to do that, but that we as agents need to learn how to leverage strategic giving and turn our business into vehicles for change that leave a lasting mark on the world. That's pretty profound. Our businesses into vehicles for change that leave a lasting mark on the world. So you guys are in for a treat today. We're so excited about our speakers today. We know that you, your friends, your family, your clients don't really know what your homeowner's insurance covers until you need it. And then it might be too late to do anything about it. We realize 64% of people are underinsured, 64%. So we have a way for everyone to not only be protected if something happens to your home, but to save money. So today we want to talk about how to save money with Keller Covered. And then we want to give you some ideas, some thoughts on how to make those savings work for you. So for those of you that are hearing about Keller Covered for the first time, this is another, I just say it's a gift from Gary and John Keller to help us change the conversations from, do you want to buy or sell a house, to more, how can I help you today? What can I do for you? This will work towards cementing more relationships through helping people, through savings. So Keller Covered is a one-stop shop comparison tool for homeowners insurance in just like 7 steps. It takes, someone was joking that it used to be 42, but now it's 7 steps. So it's kind of like, think of Kayak or Expedia for homeowners insurance. So this is a way for your clients, for your family, for your friends, for everyone you know to save up to about 30% on homeowners insurance. So I would encourage everybody on the call to go to either kellercovered.com or to your consumer app, where it's also on there, and actually try it yourself. Fill it out, see how much you save. That's such a great conversation to have with others when you say, hey, I saved X amount of money, or I got more coverage for less money. It's a great message to have. So we created Kacey's Corner as a way to educate us as agents and give us real unique strategies so we can use Keller Covered in our business. So I don't know about you all, but this is the time of year I get calls every week from other brokerages saying, hey, let's have a conversation. We'd love to talk to you about making the move. You know, it's the end of the year. We all get that, right? And so I always ask them, well, tell me about the technology you have coming up in 2021. And it's funny because there's first a pause, right? And then they say, well, we do have technology coming up. We've got some, you know, and they're real vague. They don't have anything they can really say. So nothing out there can compare with what KW has in store for us as agents for 2021. So super excited about that. So For more information about Keller Covered and some cool videos, we want you to join the Keller Covered Mastermind Facebook page. So please, please, please join that today. So now to the important people, the guests. And we are so lucky to have people that are so well known in the KW community. First of all, we have Vanessa Pollock, who has built her entire business around giving. So a lot of you know her as the co-host of the annual KW Cultural Summit with our own Mo Anderson at Mega Camp. And she also serves on the planning committee for Mo's Inspirational Morning at Family Reunion. Talk about a way to leave a wonderful event with a lump in your throat and just a sense of awe. Super excited about that. So besides that, Vanessa's a leader of Pollock Properties Group, the #1 team at Keller Williams Premier Properties in Maplewood, South Orange, New Jersey. By the way, guys, her business has doubled this year by spreading the message of care and concern. Doubled. So super excited about that. Vanessa was also a 2014 Culture Ambassador. And, you know, one of the great things when I've heard Vanessa speak before is she said that sales helps her reach her giving goal, not the other way around. And I found that to be so profound. She's also, I don't know how many know this, a TV star. We have a celebrity and a former professional dancer. And she appeared in 2 seasons of the real estate show Bought and Sold on HGTV. Can I find that on can I go back and look at those?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for all of that.
I am going to do that. I'm going to go back and look.
I don't think you can find it though. It predates HGTV, so it's that old.
I'm going to hunt it down. Okay. Our second guest today is Kathy Nye, my good friend, and also the executive director of KW Cares. So Kathy has been a leader in KW since 1993. She started as an agent, then started working for KWRI. She did things like managing franchise, director of franchise relations, president of the luxury division. She's a business and market center owner and has been in charge of KW Cares, which is a nonprofit for Keller Williams Associates. And there's 175,000 of us and families in times of need. Do you all know KW Cares has given away over $50 million to those in need. So I personally was so amazed on how quickly KW Cares stepped in with Hurricane Harvey. I mean, in a second, they had those huge trailers out there filled, sending busloads of people. I mean, it just happened so fast. It was awesome. But so today, the goal for this webinar is to walk away with learning how to save with Keller Covered, give to others, and earn more by incorporate giving into your business. So super excited. Kevin, take it away.
Thank you, Desmond. Thank you. So for today's call, it's going to be pretty informal, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by talking to Vanessa. She's going to tell us a little bit about her business, how she's incorporated giving into that business, and lots of other things that she's doing and she's working on. And after that, Kathy, I'm going to bring you in to talk and tell everybody a little bit more about what KW Cares is, what they do, and really how we can get involved and incorporate things like Keller Covered and find new ways to give. So Vanessa, first things first, I know we talked a little bit about Keller Covered. You know, what do you see this as what do you think, how can agents use this as a tool into their business to allow them to help their clients? I mean, now more than ever, we're looking for ways to give back and help our clients and create a unique message. You know, what do you think we can do?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And the fact that I'm here with Kathy and I is like dream come true, like bucket list thing for me. So I'm over the moon right now.
You're funny.
Well, it's true, Kathy. I just want to be Kathy when I grow up. So I love this. Now, Keller Covered is this incredible tool that Gary and John and everybody at KWRI has given us to put into our toolkit. And what I love is that we're constantly being given the tools necessary to keep our people with us. And when you look at the consumer app and what our clients are experiencing there, the fact that Keller Covered is integrated into the app and a part of their experience already, it just helps our clients keep things efficient, keeps it streamlined, and lets them know that we are their one thing for real estate, right? Anything that has to do with their home, they know they can come to us. And I love that we never have to worry about them bouncing out. You know, if it was a website, they'd bounce to something else, where they're never going to bounce out of our world because of the tools that we've been given, and Keller Covered being one of them.
Yeah, it's just, it's incredible to have these different tools. It's so powerful. You know, we've had quite a few different people on here that have talked about how they're incorporating different elements of specifically Keller Covered, but there's lots of different tools this company offers. You know, KW Cares is something that Keller Williams offers to its agents that like almost nobody has, not to the scale that what we do here.
Nobody, yep.
I mean, what Kathy and her team does here,
Yep.
it's unparalleled. And so it says a lot about what Gary Keller and his mission for this company and everyone who's a part of that. So, you know, we're really excited to have all those different things. So with Keller Covered, there's so many different elements. And one of the big reasons why we brought you on is because we've got a big mission for December. We want agents to start utilizing these tools. Our big launch is actually in January, and we're really going to do a big push to get Keller Covered out to our agents. But in December, what we want people to know is that December is a month for giving, right? Both for if you're thinking about family, you're thinking about the holidays, you're thinking about giving, you know, helping those that are less fortunate. I wanted to bring you in specifically because I know that you have made that your life mission. I just want to read something I found off of your website. With a higher purpose in place for a business, culture is strong and the business can withstand any shift in a market. I mean, it's without a doubt, we are going through a shift right now. So what are some of the ways that you're incorporating that into your business right now, that giving?
Yeah, thank you. You're right. Years ago, right after I joined Keller Williams, I was blessed with an opportunity to sit down and talk to Mo Anderson, who has profoundly impacted probably everyone's life in the company, right? And I shared with her that day that I wanted to be a light in what is often a dark business world, and that I truly wanted to make an impact in my community and in my industry. And she gave me some really big goals that absolutely made me want to throw up. I was like, how in the world am I going to go do that? But what was so profound about that, I can look back and I realized that those big goals allowed me, it wasn't about hitting the goal, it was about who I became along the way and along the journey of hitting those goals. And in that pursuit, I realized that I needed a higher purpose to my business, even more than the vague statement, I want to be a light in a dark business world, but what does that look like? And I had to define the higher purpose for my real estate business. And it truly became this mission to inspire generosity in my community and in my industry, and to have my small business actually leave an impact, leave a legacy in our community. So that when people think of Pollock Properties Group, of course, they're going to think of the best real estate service in our area. They're also going to approach our business with a heart of gratitude, hopefully. You know, so many of us as realtors, back in the days when you could go to the town pool or to the park, I've heard realtors say, I'm always worried that clients will look across the pool and be like, oh, there's that realtor. They make too much money, right? There's
Right.
this perception of us that way. And I thought, you know what? I want people to look across the pool at me or anyone on my team and say, oh, there's that realtor. They've made a difference. Thank goodness they're in my community. Thank goodness they're doing what they're doing here. Aren't we so blessed to have them as our number one team? So that's been the mission all along. And I became a cultural ambassador in 2014 because I had begun to integrate generosity into my business. And when I walked to the stage as a cultural ambassador for the first time, it lit something inside of me to think bigger, to aim higher, to figure out how I could take generosity to a level that was an actual business model for me to grow my team based upon foundationally, and to go out and share with other realtors, with other small businesses. And so within weeks of becoming a cultural ambassador, I was just this, business model was planted inside of me of care, serve, give. And it's my motto on everything I put out there, but it really is like a business model to follow, in that we take care, service, and generosity, and we unpack those three priorities with four specific layers. It's self-care, it's care of my team, care of our clients, and care of our community. Then we go through those four layers for service, how we serve, and then it comes to generosity. And so that's where generosity really has become hardwired into our business. So again, those four layers are self. Like, you have to be generous with yourself first, right? And you can't really be generous in your business if you're not personally generous, because it would be incongruous. That wouldn't be the truth of who you are. So I really think it's important for people to think about, where do they personally want to give separately from their business? I'll give you a hint. If you're having a hard time deciding, how about it's KW Cares? Just saying, that's a real good place to start, right? Just make a commitment that nobody's watching, nobody needs to know, but you're going to make a donation to KW Cares with each of your transactions. But that's on your own. Now let's talk about how we really hardwired it into your business so that it does make an impact with your clients, with your community, et cetera. So for our team, we talked about self. Now let's talk about, your actual team. What we have done is we've made sure that all of our marketing dollars go towards activities, events, and things that are mutually beneficial within our community. So we sponsor galas for charities. We sponsor the school play. Anything that's going to make a difference in our community, with art, with culture, with charity. That's where we want our logo to be, right? Because then I know that we're getting out in front of our community, but we also know that we're making a difference. Then in terms of how we give back for our clients, take it to the client level, we consistently, with every single closing, make a donation to our client's charity of choice. Now, why is it their charity? Well, because part of this is honoring the people we serve and what's important to them, right? And so I established closingforacause.org years ago, and we send that to all of our clients. And I say, hey, instead of sending you a bottle of champagne, I'm going to make a donation to your charity of choice instead. So please visit closingforacause.org so that I can fund that donation as soon as your home sale is complete. And then we take the giving to the next level, which is the community level. And this is where it gets to feel good for each of us individually, right? So closing for a cause, we're honoring our clients' chosen charity. But the next layer, how you serve community, is really about how each of us are wired up and what's important to us. So for me as a business, it's closingforacause.org. I saw it pop up in the chat, Desmond, and I want to be sure everybody knows it's .org. when you really think about how you want to leave an impact in your community, I want you to think about what breaks your heart in your community that you want to make a difference in. Because that's what's going to motivate you to get up in the morning and make the care calls and do the lead generation and negotiate yet again another roof that's failing and all the things that we do as realtors all day, every day. But when you know that your actual real estate activities are then taking care of something that's meaningful to you, it motivates you to keep going. And so for our team, we decided almost 6 years ago that music education was going to be what we focused on as a business and as a family. I am married to the world's most unbelievable slice of masculinity. He is the biggest, most amazing Broadway star. And he and I both grew up in the performing arts. And we've got 3 kids. And our oldest is an unbelievable, prodigious musician. And we knew we wanted to make a difference and make sure that every child in our school district was able to have access to band and orchestra instruments. And so we now for 6 years have been throwing these huge fundraising events and inviting our sphere, inviting our database, inviting the community to come partner with us in generosity to make sure that every kid in our school district has access to the instruments that they need. And it truly has, because we've shown up time on task over time, making sure that we're taking care of our community in this way, it is established us as, like Desmond said, the #1 team in giving, which was always our goal in our community, to be known for our giving more than anything. But I'll tell you what's fascinating, and Desmond mentioned this when she introduced me. This year, we have become the #1 team in sales, and we're profoundly grateful. And it's not lost on me that in a global pandemic, when people are experiencing crisis, that they have gravitated to a team that they can trust, that they know will take care of them. They know what we stand for and what we believe in and the difference we want to make in this community. And so it truly has been this business model of generosity that I think has given people the confidence and the assurance that they're going to be loved on and taken great care of and served at the highest level with safety at the forefront throughout this unprecedented year that we're having. So that was a long monologue.
No,
that
I absolutely love that. And I want to interject because that was the big story at the end, was with your son. And so I was first exposed to Vanessa at, it was family reunion in New Orleans, where she spoke for KWYP, one of our big events that we host. And she told that story. Now you went into a little bit more personal and explained that your son came home and was just distraught that there were children out there who couldn't afford, their families couldn't afford instruments. And the big thing is that there are agents, 180,000 agents across this company. There are agents out there who have families who they can work with their children and get them involved and get them to understand that giving is something, that setting that message that giving needs to be a focal point in your business and in your life. Yeah. So starting them young to understand and appreciate that. And I love that you got him into it, and he has a vested interest in it, and you're setting those standards and those morals at a very young age, and it's powerful. I know Nick Baldwin's working on something right now where he's working with his son, and it's just so cool. I think that's a huge opportunity.
Well, you hit on it there, Kevin. When I was putting the business model together, I said, I probably need to do some research and see if the data is actually out there to back up what I'm seeing to be true, but I should verify it. So did a bunch of research and found out that businesses who have charitable giving hardwired into their operations are actually more profitable than those that do not. So that's one thing, like big aha that we all need to have. But the other important piece here is that children who grow up with a role model who talks about generosity in front of them, they grow up to be more generous and servant-hearted individuals as adults. So for me, I thought to myself, okay, wait, if I hardwire this into my business and I go home and talk about it with my kids, I'm planting seeds of generosity in my children. Oh, and then the agents on my team, they go home and talk to their kids. Oh, I've planted seeds in them. And then, oh, closing for a cause, that's very strategic on my part, because when I send the email or the text to the clients and I ask them to choose the charity of their choice, I ask them to sit down as a family, have this discussion with your children, have them decide on the charity together, because then I know I got to plant that seed in that family. And so part of me now, we've got big goals, to serve $150 million of real estate next year. And it's really so that I know that we've been able to plant those seeds of generosity conversations into 250 homes. So you're absolutely right. It's really cool to think about it in terms of the generational impact, hopefully it can have.
Right. The amount of people that's impacting is just, it's so exponential, because each tier of that is just more and more people. And those, even the kids, I'm sure, like both your son, or like you said, those families and their children are going back to school, and you're like, you're never going to believe what I did at home today. Like my parents and I, we donated to this charity, and I'm super excited about it. And it's just such a big, profound compacting interest. So it's fantastic. And I've that story has really stuck to me. And so I'm really excited to have this come full circle and me get to interview and really talk about that and share that with a lot more people. So it's pretty powerful. And, that reminds me of kind of what we're thinking about here with Keller Covered, is that there's so many ways that you can earn business in this industry, right? So there's tons, everybody has a different way of doing it. For you, you've really managed to take giving and incorporate that into your business. And it's been so powerful. So we want to share that message. So offering right now, we're dealing with COVID-19 and lots of things going on in this country, right? Really in the world. If you can offer ways to help your clients save money, it's so impactful. That, like, who knows, what if someone in your database is out of work, and you're able to help them save money on their homeowner's insurance that puts more money in their pocket, that allows them to float for a longer period of time. Now you're helping out that person is never going to forget you. Yeah. You've helped them save money on their bottom line. And then as well, let's say you get somebody who is fortunate enough to still be working, or fortunate enough to be in a position where they're not struggling through these times. Well, if they were able to save money, what if they were able to make a larger contribution to a charity? If they were able to go on to, closing for a cause, and make more charitable contributions. And you said, if you go on there and you save, I'll match that donation. It gives you a way to give back to your community. There's so many different ways that we can cut this. And so that's what I really, really love about what you're doing in your business. It's impressive.
Well, my big aha just from our webinar already is, because I'm married to a Broadway actor, and Broadway is completely shut down since March and will be shut down until June of 2021 at the earliest. Right. All of our friends, our whole community, they're all unemployed. All of them. So now I'm realizing we have to go back and call all of them and say, hey, you need to look at Keller Covered. And even if it saves you $100 a month, that's huge right now. It's huge. And we need to give them that opportunity and let them know.
Absolutely. Well, I'll quote Mike Dooley we had on our last call, or 2 calls ago. And Mike was telling a story about one of his clients saved $750 a year. And he was saying that, over the course of a 30-year loan, let's say you just bought a house and you're going to be in that house for 30 years. It was, Desmond, what was it? 36,000 or I forget exactly what it was. $30,000 over the course of it. And 20, it was 20. Yeah. So anyways,
it was a large
amount of money that you're saving over the course of that loan. And so just think about the impact of how that can be put back. And especially what you're saying, like that's big money that they're able to save on their homeowner's insurance in a time that they desperately need it.
That's right.
So yeah,
and I love what you just said, that if they are in one of the industries that are thriving right now, and say, and if you save money, maybe you want to give some of that to our music initiative this year for your
Even
end of year
better.
giving. Yeah.
Yes. No, absolutely. Now, you mentioned your son and you also mentioned that there was a concert that you guys have going on. Can you tell us a little bit more about that concert? I know Kathy's waiting patiently to hear more about this.
Well, so 6 years ago when we started the Vanessa Pollock Music Initiative, and look, I hate that my name is in it, but it was strategic as a brand in our community to help create name recognition. When we created the Vanessa Pollock Music Initiative, we started off by having 2 big fundraisers every year, usually some sort of summer event, and then always, always, always a holiday concert in December, where the whole community could come together and my unbelievable husband could gather up some of the most amazing world-class musicians to play holiday music and amazing Broadway singers. And we produce this totally next level concert event. And coming up on our 6th event this year, there's COVID, right? Last year we were in the high school auditorium and we had 700 people there and it was such a fantastic night. Well, we can't do that this year. So we decided to pivot and we're fiercely committed to keeping our traditions alive, right? We just have to find a new strategy. And so we pivoted to what will be a live stream concert event on December 19th at 7 o'clock, where we will have amazing music and all kinds of holiday fun. It will be a family-friendly event, so gather your loved ones up on the couch, and if you are feeling like you'd love to go to some Broadway style music event for the holidays, we're able to have everyone attend this year, even if you're not in Northern New Jersey with us.
That is so incredible. Yes.
We're
no,
excited.
Absolutely.
If you go go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to say, if you go to Pollock Properties Group RSVP.com, that will take you to all the information.
Make sure we get that in the chat. That's what I was going to ask is how can we all get there? How can we find out?
Yeah, Pollock Properties Group RSVP.com, and we would love to have everybody there. Yeah,
that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. Vanessa, thank you so much. I really appreciate everything you shared. I know everybody here on the call and everyone who's going to be listening on Facebook as well, it really, really appreciates you taking some time out of your day to share with us everything that you're working on. You've really managed to carve out a unique niche that I really hope a lot more people take into consideration. You've got some fantastic businesses that you're working on. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
I just want to invite all of our listeners and people watching, if you're curious about our business model, I have free online training for anyone who wants to take it. It's my gift to everyone. Just go to careservegive.com. And once you are there, it'll direct you so that you'll have access to all the training. And like I said, it's free. It's my gift to everyone. I hope people will find one thing within the business model that they can implement that will make a difference for them personally and for their business and help go inspire more generosity in the world.
I think that's fantastic. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. All right.
Thank you so much for having me. Now I get to listen to Kathy Nye.
Now we've got the one and only Kathy Nye. Hello,
well,
hello.
This is kind of a
drum roll. Because anybody?
Oh yeah, right. After Vanessa's presentation, this is going to be a hard act to follow. Okay. So, Kevin, do you have some questions you want to start off with?
You know, I've got tons of questions, but I want to start off. For those who don't know what KW Cares is, I mean, I think the name, you'd be hard pressed to not have heard what the organization is. But the biggest thing is that I don't think people fully understand. I know I said this earlier. I don't think people fully understand really the full impact of what you guys do. I was fortunate enough to be able to come down and help out with Hurricane Harvey. But even for those of us who are down there helping, I don't think people understand how powerful it is. Can you just walk us through kind of what it is, what you guys do? Let's start there.
Okay, and Krista, it's kwcares.org if you want to put that on the screen at some point. Well, see, here's the thing. Kevin is so right. Most everybody's heard of KW Cares, but not everybody knows what we do. Now, that didn't used to be the case. But here's what's happened. In the last 5 years, under our current and former leadership, we have grown the company exponentially to where we have so many new agents that don't have a clue about KW Cares. So last year, pre-COVID, I decided to strike out and do a roadshow. And it was very telling. Vanessa helped me with one of my roadshows when I did the tri-state region. She helped me because I would do a live auction, but it really wasn't about fundraising. I just can't help myself. When you give me a stage and a microphone, I just help myself. I have to raise money for KW Cares. And Vanessa helped me. What the point of the roadshow was to raise awareness. And I did ALC clinics or regional leadership meetings. Anytime I could get in front of somewhere between 200 and 600 people. Now, this is what's really interesting, guys. I would start out by saying, I'd like to ask everybody a question. If you have joined Keller Williams in the last 2 years, would you please stand up? What do you think happened? Half or more of the room. Half or more of the room. And these are people serving on our ALC, which is wonderful. That's not a negative. It's a positive. But if you've only been with the company less than 2 years, and we've been so busy growing the company, and we've been so busy increasing production and teaching our people how to be more productive and more profitable, we've just got to raise more awareness. And so let me say that KW Cares is a 501c3 charity for Keller Williams associates, their spouse or domestic partner, and their immediate family. Now, let me define immediate family for you. It's parents, children, and siblings. And the children don't have to be dependents. They can be out of the house. So KW associates, their spouse or domestic partner, parents, children, and siblings. So we don't turn down very many grants. And if there's any loophole we can get to help, we absolutely can't help aunts, uncles, cousins, etc. But if there's ever a way we could slip a grandparent in there without losing our 501c3, the way we do that is we can't give a grant directly to a grandparent. But if the people, in other words, her children or his, are helping them, perhaps we can help the kids that are Keller Williams, or the kids of Keller Williams associates.
Yeah.
So as Desmond told you, since the inception, and next year will be 19 years of KW Cares, because they started in 2002. I started with them in 2005. And Desmond told you that since the inception, actually, this is about how much we've given out, not how much we've taken in. We have given out over $51 million. Now, one thing I didn't say, when we give a grant, it has to be needs-based. Mm-hmm. It is something that has caused undue financial stress due to a catastrophe or an unexpected illness or something like a car accident or your home burned down. We do lots of cancer. We do lots of heart disease. We do lots of birth defects. So it has to be something like that has caused financial hardship that you're not able to take care of. Yeah. And so it's not to preserve what you've worked and saved for. if you have money or liquid assets, I'm not talking about your home, I'm not talking about your retirement. We would never ask you to dip into your retirement account or to sell your home. But if there's any kind of cash or liquid assets, then we can't help until those are gone. And that's uncomfortable, and I get that. But we're always going to be there as the safety net if you have to spend your money. And it doesn't have to be every penny. There's a threshold, and it's like $20,000 that if you have let 20 or less, then we can help. Now, we also help, as you might, and here, that's what everybody's talked about. We also help with natural disasters, meaning hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, and so things like that. Hurricane Harvey at the time was our all-time biggie, except for Katrina, and we all know what happened in Katrina. And so this year, we were really challenged. We had 4 hurricanes in the same region in 60 days.
Wow.
And we still had wildfires going on in California, Oregon, and Washington. And unlike Hurricane Harvey, where Kevin came, you said you came to Houston, correct?
I was there, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, that didn't happen this year because of COVID. Whereas at Hurricane Harvey, we used to have 200 or 300 volunteers a day.
Yeah.
Would go out and help our people. And because of COVID, we had to be so careful during all 4 of these hurricanes. I'm not sure we ever even hit 50. We might have had 50. So what happened is KW Cares had to pay professionals to go out and do things that volunteers used to do. So our year has been interesting. I don't remember, since I've been the executive director, which is 2007, I don't remember ever going backwards in donations in the last 8 years, except for 1 year, and it was very little. But what happened was January and February, we did fine. In March, everybody became fearful because they didn't know what was going to happen. They didn't know we were going to have the best year in real estate. I just got off a Southern California call. I mean, are you all aware? We've had at Keller Williams Realty in North America the best year in real estate ever in the history of the company.
Yeah.
2 things happened that I believe 3 that I believe have caused our donations to go backwards a little bit this year. First of all the new people, lack of awareness. Okay.
Yeah.
Second of all, COVID and everybody being a little fearful how things were going to turn out. But here's the other thing, and we love Command and what Command is going to be able to do for our people and what it's already done. But here's what happened. On green sheets, you would go into your, Desmond knows this, you would go into your MCA at the beginning of the year and say, okay, I want to take X amount of every transaction for this year off of every green sheet. Well, when we changed from green sheets to commissions, which is how we get paid now, which is part of opportunities, which is part of Command, the automatic went away. It will be back someday, but it's been gone now ever since Command kicked off. Now, here's what they did do for us, and it was great. But again, people think it's automatic. What happens is when you get to the bottom, a pop-up comes and it says, and guys, if you don't do your own commissions, you need to make sure that your closing coordinators know this as well.
That's
And
right.
it says, Vanessa, would you like to give a tax deductible donation from this transaction to KW Cares? And there's 3 boxes there you can check with an amount, or there's a box that says other.
Yep.
That you can put in whatever amount you want. Well, most people think once they check that, it's going to happen on every one. Desmond thought it until yesterday.
I
When
thought it did. Yes, I thought I was
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
it the whole
We
time,
were
but
just
now I've
talking
got to
about
go.
this. That,
I've got to go to
yeah.
my closing coordinator and say, make sure you do it every time, because I don't look at them. I don't.
Right.
right?
Kevin, what were you going to say?
I was saying that Desmond and I had this conversation. And I completely agree. I mean, I have to do the same thing as Desmond and talk to my closing coordinator, transaction coordinator, just to see what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, you know what, guys? It's not that we have no, it's not that we don't have loving, giving people who understand, as Mo Anderson says, the higher purpose of business is to care and share and give.
Yep.
It's not that those aren't our people, and it's not that we don't have people that don't understand. Gary Keller, his famous quote is, and my favorite, my personal favorite, although he's got so many, but one of my personal favorites is the higher, I'm sorry, that was Mo, is that money is only good.
For the good that it can do.
Can do. It's not that. It's that they're new to the company. They don't know about KW Cares, or they think they're still doing transactional giving. And transactional giving, guys, we think is the cat's meow, if you will. Because if you don't receive anything, you don't give anything.
Right.
Right.
And so it's a great time. And we've got people, guys, and this is wonderful, that give $5 from every transaction. And we've got people that give $250 from every transaction. And here's the other thing. Desmond, you and I didn't talk about this, and Vanessa, think about this, and Kevin. A lot of our top givers, they don't do deals anymore. And I'm happy to share their names, because at family reunion, we recognize them.
Yeah.
And so I know it will be okay. I'm talking the Gary and Nikki Ubaldinis of the world, the Ben Kennys of the world, Beth Steiner, I forget, Kay and Glenn Evans. It just goes on and on and on. And these people either send checks or they go to kwcares.org and press donate now, because they don't do transactions. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So here's the thing, guys. The stories, and you're going to be seeing more of these. KW Cares, Desmond, Vanessa, Kevin, we haven't talked about this. We have hired a marketing firm, Vanessa, from Manhattan.
Yay.
You've probably heard of them, called Ripple Effect.
Uh-huh.
And so we're going to get our story out there and create awareness. But also, guys, you know, we recently had a story, and I do have permission to say this, because I would never tell about a grantee without permission. Everything is confidential. And speaking of grantees, guys, you know, another problem, you know, talk about this year, even though our donations are down, our donations right now exceed our grants, which is usually true, but I was surprised it would be true this year with everything we're going through. And so it's not like our people are giving, and we do have a really nice fund. So we just have to keep our coffers full,
Yeah.
because 4 hurricanes in the same region in 60 days, unfortunately, that could become the norm. We all know that.
Yeah.
We don't know what
Right.
our atmospheric conditions, et cetera, what that's going to look like. But it's not just natural disasters, guys. There was a single mom that was 39 years old that had 3 kids, tweens and teens, and she was a real estate agent with no insurance, which a lot of realtors are bad about that. And I don't think she'd been a realtor long, see? And so she hadn't had time to build up a big nest egg. And she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And oh yeah, Desmond, it was heartbreaking. There was no hope. However, they didn't give her very much time. And so here's what happened. First of all, her market center sprung into action. See, this is why what Vanessa does is so important. See, because Mo Anderson and I are also really big on charity begins at home. It's not just about giving to KW Cares. It's about raising money in your market center, because we need to take care of our own and make them feel loved and appreciated.
Right.
And so the first thing that happened was that their market center had a Saturday afternoon barbecue with a silent auction in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and where Fort Bragg is, by the way. And so there's a lot of people there. And Desmond knows that because her son was stationed there, and so was my son-in-law. So Desmond and I know Fayetteville very, very well. And so in a Saturday afternoon, selling barbecue and a silent auction, and then people just throwing money at it to be helpful. They raised $40,000. So that allowed her to have all this treatment. And then when that 40,000 was gone, she applied for a grant from KW Cares. And that allowed her to get more treatment and all this. And she just passed away about 2 months ago. And her OP called me to tell me how much that family appreciated the grant from KW Cares, because instead of her just living a few months, she lived about 17 or 18 months. And what they said was that she said was because of KW Cares, she got to spend more time with her kids. So that's what we're about. And there's story after story after story. And you're going to start to see these more and more, like I say, because our Manhattan marketing company is going to get all this out there, and that's going to help people understand about transactional giving.
Yeah.
Well, and I think,
Kathy, if I may, sorry, Desmond, real quick. So if I
Desmond.
may, what's a big way that we can get people? I know that, like you said, that not enough people know about the impact and how we can actually, maybe even that they can give to KW Cares. Now, I mean, it's nice that it's incorporated in commissions, but I'm sure lots of people don't even know that they can give to KW Cares, or if there is a time of need that they can receive from KW Cares. What can we do now, as everyone who's on this call? How can we better serve KW Cares, and how can we give better? Because adding this culture, it goes back to what Vanessa said, right? It's that compounding interest. We're teaching others to teach others to teach others about the good and giving that we can provide. What would you say is the best course of action for us to start that now?
Well, I would say just be sure you talk about it at every time you get together. Talk about it at your ALC meetings. Talk about it at your team meetings. Talk about it at your ALC retreat, your ALC clinic, just whenever you can do that.
Yeah.
Because you brought up a good point. Thank you. I meant to say it earlier and I got sidetracked. Guys, sometimes it's hard for our people to ask, because they are all leaders, and they're used to giving, not to receiving. And Kevin, to your point, and I'm going to use a name, I'm sure Desmond knows, there is a team leader. He's also an OP. He's been a regional director in San Antonio, Texas, named Craig Owen. And Craig Owen had someone in his market center years ago. Vanessa, this may have been about the time you may have been on stage with me when Mo, we had this lady and Mo, and maybe it was just Mo and I, and then the 3 grant recipients.
Yeah.
And so these people did very well in their real estate business, but they didn't have health insurance, and they had they'd had a daughter killed in a car accident, and they taken in the grandkids. So even though they had a good book of business, because most people, not all, but most people, or let me just say a lot of people that get grants from KW Cares don't do a lot of business because they've lost a child, for God's sake, or they've had cancer for 12 months and they could hardly get out of bed, much less go sell real estate. But these people were really not going to ask for a grant because they had been blessed with a good business. But between no insurance and raising those 3 grandkids when their daughter was killed in a car wreck, their savings were depleted. So they did qualify. But everybody says, oh no, give it to somebody else who needs it more. Right. Oh no, I wouldn't think about applying for a grant. Right. So Kevin, leaders, it's up to you all. If you know somebody that needs help, please go encourage them or go tell their leadership. KW Cares can help this person, but they've just got to ask.
Right.
Yeah.
Desmond, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say I use KW Cares when I do my listing presentations because a lot of my clients are very giving oriented, and I think they want to work with a company as a whole that has the same mindset. And I've told you before, Kathy, I want a sheet that has more details directly from you all to put in every one of my listing presentations because it shows a culture, it shows a mindset that a lot of my clients appreciate and can feel the kinship with.
We used to have that, but I am telling, because we used to have a lot of help from our marketing department, but they've been pedaling as fast as they can and then some to get out all of our stuff, Keller Mortgage, Keller Covered, Command, all of that. And so that's why we've hired a marketing firm. So trust me, you will be getting one of those. And in addition, and so you can put it in your listing presentation. However, team leaders need it in their onboarding, in the onboarding folder, And listen, I just got from Krista.
Okay. I was just going to wrap this up, Kathy. Thank you so much.
Well, she wanted to know if anybody had any questions for Vanessa and I. I see everybody but 1 or 2 still on the call, and Vanessa and I can certainly stay 5 more minutes if we can answer questions.
Yeah, if you guys are good, we're good. I just want to be respectful of everyone's time, but
absolutely. If
anybody does want to have to drop off, it's on this call. All of this will be posted to our Facebook group, Keller Covered Mastermind. But yeah, let's go ahead, Krista, open it up. If anybody has any questions, please post those in the chat. While we're waiting for those, I just want to emphasize this goes back to what Kathy said, what Vanessa said. It really boils down to culture, right? So creating great culture inside of our company, inside of our families, inside of ourselves, inside of our businesses, our clients, all of that, it all stems from having good culture. Gary embodies that, and that's really what Keller Covered is. is this is a service that we have as Keller Williams agents that Gary said, I'm not looking to make a buck. This is a product that we've created to help our agents, help our clients. That's it. Bottom line, we're not looking to make money. We're looking to pass on the savings to help our clients save money. That's the bottom line. Our next webinar is actually going to be January 7th, same time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Let's see if we have any questions in here.
While you're looking, Kevin, I just want to
Yes.
remind people, I think sometimes people think that culture is giving, right? And yet that is it's like the heat you feel off of the flame, right? But you need the candle, the wick, the flame in order to have the heat. So I came up with a formula that I run everything through, and it's my culture formula, is that you take your purpose plus action, that equals profit, which then yields giving. But you got to understand your purpose and take action around it before you can be profitable enough to then go give. And you're absolutely right. It all rises and falls on culture. And I'm so grateful that it's at the forefront for this company and obviously for every single person who's here today.
Well, and I do want to say that KW Cares is not the culture of this company. It is a byproduct of the culture. The culture of this company is the Y4C2Ts because it embodies everything we are and everything we do. Yep. And our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives.
Exactly it. Yeah.
That is
personal perspectives, right? That's another pillar.
Amen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. 100%.
All right, guys. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you both. Really appreciate it. And everyone, thank you for attending, and see you next time.
All right.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a blessed day.